After 5 years of the anime ending, we get to return to the Soul Eater anime universe via the anime Soul Eater Not. Now, with this particular anime, I had very low expectations. For the most part, I expected it to be some sort of prequel with very small elements of the Soul Eater story. And I was actually pleasantly surprised at how much I enjoyed this episode, because I thought I was just getting into it and it's just going to be like, maybe you get a little bit here, a little bit there, but it wasn't really going to be anything. And so far from what I got, I like how it's giving me some of that Soul Eater universe. So you're actually at the academy. You're not just like seeing some of the elements of it. You're actually at the academy. And I'm curious as to when this actually takes place within the Soul Eater universe, because you see that Sid is still alive, but you also see that Medusa is apparently already working there. So, like, does this take place in between, like, the beginning of Soul Eater? There's actually some confusion there as to when does this exactly take place. And you also have a lot of the main characters. I really like getting to see some of the cameos. You got Black Star, Tsubaki. You get a lot of these characters. The character designs are slightly different. Like, Black Star looks a lot more muscular. Tsubaki looks a lot more busty. You got Maka and Soul. Soul looks a little bit like he's, like, high or some shit. And then you got Maka there. She looks, for the most part, the same. Maybe she looks a little bit different as far as her art style. It was nice to get the little cameos from them, so I guess that was kind of enjoyable. Now, as far as the main characters go, they're not anything particularly special. You got the main character, Tsugumi, that pretty much just found out that she has these powers, that she's basically a weapon. And I liked, in a sense, that this kind of expanded upon the Soul Eater universe a little bit, giving you that whole thing, because for the most part in Soul Eater, it never really expanded into the normalcy of the world, not just, you know, the whole Soul Eater stuff with all the weapons and meisters. Never really gave you that, so I liked in the beginning that you got to see normal people. And it's almost as if off-screen, her mother, Tsugumi's mother, flipped out and said, "You're going to the academy," after she had that little slip-up with the dog and her leg turned into a weapon or whatever. So it seems as though, for the most part, the humans are like, yeah, once you're a weapon or some shit, you gotta go. A bit cruel, don't you think? And I felt it was good introduction and good setup for what's to come, because in all honesty, I had, again, very low expectations coming into this. I just thought it was going to be like, maybe it's some milkage or whatever, but as far as art and animation goes, definitely it was a good check. I really thought the animation and the art, it looked real nice. It was like the buildings had a nice vibe to it. It almost looked 3D in a way. You got the sun looking better than ever there, smiling. And just as a whole, I felt as though the art and animation was just really good for this first episode. Now, as far as the characters, the three main characters, from what I'm guessing thus far, is the Tsugumi girl. Typical, you know, kind of shy. She loves love. Apparently, she's in love with love. And she's just, you know, overcoming these, I guess, awkward stages in life. So nothing too special there. You also have the other girl, Meme, that is pretty much, I guess, very shy and timid as well. So it's kind of like you have two timid girls, and then you have the stuck-up girl. I think her name is Anya. So it has a little variety of a little mix. The main characters ain't anything too special. Like, it's kind of interesting as well when you look at them compared to the Soul Eater characters. It's like, I don't know what the mangaka was going for with this, because you see like Black Star, Tsubaki, you see all these characters, Soul, Maka, and how interesting and exciting they are. And then you have the main cast of Soul Eater Not, and they're just kind of like bland rookies. So in a sense, the characters aren't all that amazing thus far. They were nice and they had a little charm to them, but they weren't as exciting or over the top as Soul Eater characters. And in a sense, I guess they don't need to be, because at the end of the day, it is called Soul Eater Not. So this is not your typical Soul Eater. You're not going to get the same vibe from it. It's not going to be as wacky. It looks like it's more grounded towards, in a certain sense, reality, as far as like the characters are more realistic and less like crazy and zany. But that was one of the best things about Soul Eater, and one of the things that really made you like them, because the characters just had so much personality to them. And with these particular characters so far, it's kind of like they're average Joes from what I get thus far. Although I did find it impressive when Anya took Tsugumi and was using her as a weapon. I was like, yeah, as of right now, between the three characters, Anya looks like the most beast, Tsugumi looks like she has the most heart, and Meme has the most jugs. So for our first episode, I felt it was enjoyable. Wasn't the most amazing or anything like that. And as far as it being a prequel, I'm not exactly sure when does it take place, but it was a pretty decent episode. I felt the art animation check. Music was alright, nothing standing out in this particular first episode. And the main characters, they're not all that exciting, but again, like, it's Soul Eater Not, so I guess they're not supposed to be like the Soul Eater characters, but they did have a little charm to them, and I felt as though between the three, Anya so far seems like my favorite. Even though she's stuck up, when it comes time to throw down, she would kick some ass. And also, she kind of has like some tsundere traits. I'm curious if this is going to be along the lines of like a Yuri, because even though it was like on some friendship thing, like Anya wants Tsugumi as her partner, but Meme at the same time wants her, it kind of felt a little bit Yuri-ish, and I'm not against Yuri, so I wouldn't mind seeing some Yuri action in there, I'm just saying. I'm just looking forward to seeing some of these characters progress, because as of right now, there's a lot of progression to do with these three characters. I would like to see Anya let go of some of those stuck-up traits that she has. I would definitely like to see Tsugumi advance, because in this first episode, you see that she definitely has some good qualities qualities of being a weapon. You know, she turned into it at the very end after Sid gave her a little bit of advice. So I would like to see them all progress. Man, I would definitely like to see gain more personality, more character, because between the three main characters, Man is definitely the weakest so far, and I would say Tsugumi or Anya for number one. I more so go with Anya because she just absolutely bossed at the end and beat the living shit out of those two dudes, which, by the way, that dude's transformation, crusty as hell. It's like, your head is there. Somebody punches you in the head, you're gonna get knocked the fuck out, you moron. What do you guys think about Soul Eater Not's first episode? Were you disappointed with it because it's not like Soul Eater? Again, it's Soul Eater Not, so you really gotta look at it as like, it's not Soul Eater. You're gonna get some elements, you're gonna get some cameos, but at the end of the day, it is not Soul Eater, so you gotta look at it like that. For our first episode, I'm gonna give this one 7.5 out of 10. It was good, shows some promise, and at the very least, we're getting to see some of that Soul Eater universe animated again. I'm just hoping that when this finishes, we get a redo of the Soul Eater anime, and it gets a full-on, faithful adaptation of the entire manga, because that would be amazing. But Soul Eater Not so far is pretty chill. But that's all I have for this first impression. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Thumbs up if you can't wait to see more of Soul Eater Not and see maybe some more cameos of some of our favorite characters from Soul Eater, because it seems like it's going to be a chill ride. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.